The Greenland Sea is a black, frozen void, silent, endless, and utterly indifferent. Wind tears across the pack ice at 70 knots, screaming like something alive and furious, hulling snow in blinding sheets that swallow light, sound, and hope. Visibility is gone. The world ends 10 feet in front of you. The USS Gerald R, Ford, America's unbreakable floating fortress, a city of steel carrying 75 fighter jets and the full weight of a superpower, pushes northward through the grinding ice, bound for Pitufik, bound to enforce a claim no one else dares challenge. Every radar sweep shows nothing. Every sonar ping returns empty. The crew breathes easier, convinced the Arctic is still empty. Then the shadows arrive. They don't announce themselves, they simply appear. 3 Venezuelan warships, Russian upgraded frigates, hulls dark as oil slicks against the swirling white. They glide into position without a ripple of warning. A perfect, suffocating triangle. So close the carriers' lookouts can read their names through the snow. So far they can still claim innocence. A single drone rises from the lead frigate's deck, then another. Then a swarm, silent, relentless, circling the carrier's towering island like predators that already know the kill is certain. The radio crackles once. A voice, calm and cold, cuts through the static. "You are in international waters. We are conducting routine patrol. Do not approach." On the bridge, the captain's hand freezes on the rail. In the CIC, screens flicker with fresh LOX missile tubes warm, electronic warfare suites humming. Sonar whispers of something deeper, something patient, metallic, and waiting below the ice. OT for 3 hours. The wind was a living thing, screaming at 70 knots across the pack ice and hurling snow in relentless horizontal sheets that stung like glass shards against anything exposed. Visibility was reduced to almost nothing. The world ended 10 feet in front of you, swallowed by swirling white, and every sound carried strangely muffled yet amplified by the cold, until it seemed to come from everywhere at once. The USS Gerald R. Ford, the most advanced aircraft carrier ever built, pushed steadily northward through the thickening floes, her massive bow carving a path with a low, grinding roar that vibrated through the hull like a distant earthquake. 100,000 tons of steel and fire, she was designed to dominate open oceans, not wrestle the Arctic, but here she was, more than 1,000 miles from the equator, carrying the weight of President Trump's latest ultimatum on Greenland. 75 FA-18 Super Hornets and F-35 Lightning IIs sat secured on the flight deck, their engines cold, wings folded tight against the gale, radars sweeping the empty horizon for any sign of Russian or Chinese shadows. No one aboard expected trouble this far north, and certainly no one expected company from Caracas. In the Combat Information Center, buried deep inside the armored heart of the ship, Lieutenant Commander Elena Vasquez monitored the scopes with the steady focus of someone who had spent too many nights staring at blips that might or might not become threats. Her team of radar technicians hunched over glowing screens, sipping bitter coffee from insulated mugs to keep their hands from shaking in the chill that even the carrier's heating systems couldn't fully defeat. "Clear skies, ma'am," one ensign reported, his voice steady but carrying the fatigue of a 12-hour watch. Vasquez nodded, her mind drifting briefly to the briefing she had read on the way up. Maduro's regime in Caracas was crumbling under layers of US sanctions, but Venezuela's navy, bolstered by Russian upgrades, Iranian drones, and Chinese oil money, had been making increasingly bold moves in the Caribbean. The Arctic, though, that seemed absurd, almost laughable, until it wasn't. The shadows appeared without warning. Faint blips on the edge of the radar coalesced into 3 distinct contacts emerging from the gale like ghosts rising from the deep. On the port bow, the lead vessel resolved into the General Salem F-25, a Venezuelan Patrullero-class frigate, sleek and predatory with its Russian-supplied anti-ship missiles and electronic warfare arrays clearly visible in the intermittent flashes of the carrier's searchlights. Her hull cut through the floes with practiced ease, bow wave foaming white against the ice. Behind her, the Mariscal Sucre 355 materialized, lights doused, her silhouette a dark smear against the swirling snow. A third ship, the smaller Case Guayquillay Puro, rigged for extreme cold operations, slid in from starboard, completing a loose but deliberate triangle around the Ford. They were too close within visual range through the breaks in the blizzard. Hull numbers faintly visible, close enough that the Venezuelan crews could probably read the name painted in white letters on the carrier's stern. Alarms chirped softly in the CIC, a sound that never failed to tighten every stomach in the room. Contacts bearing 270, range 5 miles, the ensign called out, his fingers already flying across the console. Vasquez leaned forward, her pulse quickening despite herself. "ID them," she ordered. The system cross-referenced in seconds. Venezuelan Navy. The room went quiet for a beat. "What the hell are they doing here?" she muttered, the question hanging unanswered as everyone stared at the plot. Venezuela's fleet was small, outdated in parts, but Maduro had invested heavily in Russian technology calibre missiles, Murmansk BN jammers, even lone Kilo-class submarines for joint exercises. This far north, it reeked of proxy play. Russia pulling strings to disrupt Trump's Arctic ambitions without putting their own ships in the line of fire. The radio crackled to life, static-laced but clear, and the Venezuelan captain's voice came through, measured and accented in English. "This is Bolivarian Navy vessel General Salam. You are in international waters. We are conducting routine patrol operations in support of Allied interests. Do not approach or interfere." The transmission looped like a mechanical mantra, echoing through the bridge speakers. Captain Harlan Reeves, the Ford's commanding officer, gripped the comms handset so hard his knuckles whitened. "Routine patrol? In the Arctic?" he said to no one in particular. He keyed the mic with deliberate calm. "General Salome, this is USS Gerald R. Ford. State your intentions. You are encroaching on our operational area." No reply came, only the steady ping of active sonar from the Venezuelan ships, probing the depths like fingers searching for a pulse. Tension coiled through the CIC like a spring under pressure. Reeves turned to his executive officer. "Scramble alert fighters. Get eyes in the sky." Hangar bays hummed to life below decks. Technicians in heavy parkas battled the wind to prep 2 F-35s, their stealth coatings glistening with frost as they were taxied to the catapult. The jets launched into the storm, afterburners lighting the night in twin plumes of fire that cut through the white like knives. From the Venezuelan frigates, the response was swift and subtle. A small drone lifted from the General Salam's deck, Russian-made Orlan 10. Compact and agile. It buzzed toward the Ford at mast height, cameras whirring, infrared lenses piercing the snow. Then another drone joined it, and a third from the Mariscal Sucre. They formed a loose swarm, circling the carrier's island superstructure, dipping low over the flight deck. Electronic warfare suites activated, jamming spikes flooded the Ford's radars, turning screens to static snow. "We're being painted," Vasquez shouted. Multiple LOX anti-ship missiles hot. The Ford's own drones scrambled, MQ-9 Reapers lifting from the hangar, engines screaming against the wind. In the sky above, the launched F-35s banked hard, sidewinders hot. "Fox 2, the lead pilot transmitted. Missiles streaked out, but the drones danced countermeasures, flaring erratic turns. One collision was inevitable. A Venezuelan drone clipped a Reaper's wing. Sparks exploded. Wreckage spun downward, slamming into the ice with a muffled crack. Accidental contact, the Venezuelan voice returned instantly. No hostile intent. But the message had already been sent. "We can reach you here. We can touch you." Beneath the waves, the real threat stirred. Sonar operators on the Ford caught it first, a faint, metallic heartbeat deep in the thermocline, that cold layer where temperature gradients bent sound waves like light through a prism. Type 2 Veni submarine, Kilo-class upgrade, Russian-trained crew. It didn't surface, it didn't fire, it simply existed, one torpedo away from turning the supercarrier into a 100,000-ton coffin. Reeves ordered a warning. "Seahawk, drop a Max 46, non-explosive, acoustic spike only." The helicopter launched, rotors fighting the gale. The torpedo splashed into the black water. A sharp ping echoed through the depths, loud enough to rattle teeth, harmless enough to avoid war. The response was immediate. From the General Salam, a single calibre missile rose. White smoke trailed upward. Then the rocket detonated high overhead. A blinding flash lit the ice for a heartbeat. Shrapnel pattered down like frozen rain. Too close. Far too close. "Warning shot," Reeves said through clenched teeth. "They're telling us they can do worse." The encirclement tightened. The three ships held position, engines idling, missile tubes warm. Drones continued their vigil, batteries swapped in shifts. The submarine's echo faded, then returned persistent, patient, a shadow under the ice. Hours bled into one another. Crew in the Ford battled frostbite, rotating shifts in heated compartments. Marines prepped rifles, body armor layered under parkas. In at 4:47, the wind dropped for a moment. The sky cleared to a pale, merciless grey. Satellite imagery showed the reality. Venezuelan ships locked in their triangle. The Ford slowed to a crawl, ice grinding against her hull. No retreat, no advance, just waiting. The cold was the real weapon. It seeped through bulkheads, froze hydraulics, dulled reflexes. On the flight deck, technicians worked in silence, breath clouding like smoke. In the CIC, Vasquez stared at the plot. 3 contacts, 1 ghost below, and the night stretched on. 1 wrong move, 1 drifting mine, 1 order from a leader with nothing left to lose. The Greenland Sea waited. The ship circled. The ice held its breath. And somewhere in the deep, the submarine listened patient, silent, ready.